So, for people in this room or their networks or communities who may be experiencing discrimination, what are some good forms of documentation or proof that they can collect if they're starting to feel there may be a pattern of harassment at work? Like, what would make you happy if somebody came in with a file, you know?
So a few things. There are some suggestions, both in, I will say the lab material on this is terrific in terms of things to bring in. But, we're looking for at the intake level, basic dates. When did things happen? And keeping track of your wage information is important, and maybe an issue later in damages. When I was in private practice, I would advise clients to start keeping a little calendar what's happening. Don't keep it on your work computer. Don't keep it at work, okay? This is something that, you went home and, it's cathartic anyways, right?
Right.
You went home, this person said these horrible things to me. You write down who was there, okay? You write down what happened. Was there anybody that was an observer? This isn't necessarily something we're going to take at intake, but in the investigation, if we know you have a witness that we can go talk to, that's going to help a great deal. Similarly, if it's separate and apart, like if it's a disability case, eventually you're going to need to have some sort of medical record, something that shows us what that disability is. That's just how we're going to need to prove the case. So, that's the sort of thing to be keeping. Any sort of emails that not obviously, but if it's a harassing email, there's no reason why you shouldn't make a copy of it and take it home. Frankly, they're not taking confidential business information. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about, if you have things that will evidence what has happened, keeping that even for yourself is a good idea. And I myself, I like the idea of a calendar because most of this, it may be incremental, right? And the chronology can help a great deal. And our memories all fade. You don't remember, maybe it was Wednesday. And then if you're coming up with the wrong date and your witness was out sick that day, now you're raising a credibility issue, which you didn't need to. I mean, just if you're keeping track of it the same day, it's going to be much closer, and it's it's going to be helpful for you later too, as well as I said, being cathartic.
It is helpful, yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and just some ideas from actually having done intake and listening to people. So what happens is when someone finally comes, that's when they're spilling out the whole story. And what I often always did was just let someone tell the whole story and then make questions as they were talking about things that weren't clear, and then went back and would ask those questions. But sometimes people just didn't remember the answers. So if you are experiencing, if you have a friend who thinks I'm being treated differently, literally to just write down in the moment, including comparators of anyone else whom they think did the same thing and they weren't slammed in the way that your friend was slammed, or you know what I mean, and disciplined. So, and then because then when you come, if you have that, that'll make the conversation with the intake investigator much more effective.
That's a question. So when we talk about discrimination, I think we often think about not getting hired or getting fired for who you are. But we know it's so much more than that. And maybe could you two talk a little bit about what also might constitute discrimination that people don't, usually think of?
Yes, that was his next
There's a
question.
question.
Well, that shows
Exactly
that it's an
that.
important
So thank you,
question.
Jansen.
So that's very important. So under the federal law, mirrored in state laws, discrimination includes in employment, not being hired or being fired, but also any discrimination in terms or conditions of employment. And that can be someone else was constantly given better jobs, opportunities, and you're thinking it's because I'm gay that I'm not getting this job opportunity. Someone else is sent to conferences, you're not. Someone else gets a better shift at McDonald's, you're not. And again, you'll ultimately have to prove that you're being treated in this way because of sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other protected categories, but it includes the whole range. That's also why harassment is covered as a form of discrimination. You're not being fired, but it sure as hell isn't fun being at work while you're working, and that is affecting the terms and conditions of your employment.